It's my great pleasure to introduce one of our very professional goal mapping practitioners and someone who's now become a friend over the years since I first met him. I think it was back in 2014, maybe Ronny in Sweden, Gothenburg, maybe, no, Helsingborg. With Forever Living products. From memory, not from not from notes. It's a pleasure to see you again. It's been a little while, my friend. How are you? I know you're not living in Sweden currently.
No, it just happened to be that one thing that was on one of my goal maps was moving to Spain. So guess where I'm living?
Spain.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
So tell us a little bit about your work, Ronny. I don't think we've spoken for about a year or so, but we've shared a few messages these last days since inviting you to come and share your wisdom in your work. And one of the things that I so love about goal mapping and the certification program is there are all sorts of people using it in all sorts of ways. And I know that you've had quite a journey since first joining goal mapping. Your own work has moved on. And so I think people find it very inspiring to hear about your journey, both with personal development and your professional work, but of course, specifically with goal mapping.
Of course. My background is that I'm an exercise physiologist, a former sports nerd. Come from the athletic world, took me to the US, got a scholarship at a university, got my education, moved back to Sweden, married the love of my life that I met in college, and we moved to Sweden in 1991. And ever since, I have been self-employed, always been like, put the throttle to the bottom and just like passionated work with what I've always loved. Has it been easy? Of course not. Of course not. It's like, it's been a tough journey and a long journey, but something when you do what you love and you work with your passion, there is always a reward and a blessing along the path, and then you bump into things that is going to empower your life in so many ways. And that's one of the things that was you, Brian, when we accidentally bumped into each other, because I had a guy from Denmark who asked me if I could arrange a workshop about something called goal mapping in Sweden, because he had a guest speaker, this Brian Main, coming to Denmark, and why not do it in Sweden as well? I said, yeah, sure, that sounds fun. I know nothing about goal mapping. I knew nothing about it, but it's something tickled me, and that's why I said yes. I'm like a little bit of a yes theory guy. Like I'd rather say yes than say no. And if it feels good in the gut, if it is something that tickles me, I'm going to go for it. And that's what happened, and that's how we met. And then you looked at this, the logotype of my car, and you saw the Forever Living logo, and that's how we started to talk. That you are already familiar with Forever, and at that time I was heavily involved, and I'm still involved, but even though I do other things as well. So when you said before that all the different areas where goal mapping has been used and is used, well, I'm one of these guys that probably been using the goal map in the most variety of different areas. I've been voluntarily coaching kids for more than 25 years. I've been using it there. I've been doing my Forever Living workshops where I meet people that wants to bring it into their families and do family goal maps, not only the business goal map. I'm, of course, since I'm an exercise physiologist, I've been working with sports people. I've been helping people reach their goals with the help of goal mapping in sports. I have done it with people changing their life when it comes to health, and of course with the Forever Living business. And then I've been also coaching executives within the corporate structure and that part. And I've been using the goal map in that area as well. And right now, since I had a tough journey the last year or so, since I was heavily hit by COVID and ended up in the intensive care and was really, really, really sick.
Yeah, I remember how poorly you were at that time.
Yeah.
And you look fantastic now, I must say, Ronnie, but I know you were very seriously ill at that time.
Oh yeah, it was like they told my wife they didn't know if I was going to come out of there alive. So it was really, really serious. And anyway, that was nothing bad. If unless you die, it's gonna be it's gonna be only bad. You know, it was a slap in the face for me in so many ways. And I've been basically taking a full year of like pausing, reflecting, digging deep into myself, and thinking like, what is it that I really, really, really love? If I can only like do one thing for the rest of my life, it's because I had when this happened, I had just started to coach health professionals to succeed online, because I saw that, just like you were talking about, now we see AI coming along and we see the shift in the workplace, and I saw how the whole fitness and health industry was moving towards online. And I had already been working in the online space for 6-7 years. And I was feeling like that's the area that I want to evolve and grow. But when I was laying there in the hospital with the oxygen mask on and recovering and thinking like, what the heck am I doing? Is this what I love? Like business? Is that what I really love? No, what I still love is changing the health in people's lives. That's where my root is. That's why I left the sports world and came into the health world, because I felt more passionate in the health space than in the sports space. Even though I've had a great career in the sports field with coaching Olympic athletes, coaching sport professionals in all kinds of sports, being a keynote speaker at the Wimbledon tennis tournament, and so on and so on. But when I came into the health space, I felt more passion. It's closer to my heart. So that kind of brought me into the path that I'm on right now. So I launched the 1st of March. I launched a new online program for men with erectile dysfunction, because I was looking around and I saw all this focus on women, and nothing wrong with that, with women with menopausal problem and everything that has to do with the female hormonal system and all that. And at the same time, I have seen so many men suffering and no one talks about it. No one discusses it. It's like it's always under the radar, and the guys are so ashamed. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to mention it, and they're mentally feeling really, really, really bad. So me and a fairly new friend of mine that I met down here in space, a Canadian chiropractor, we started to talk, and we just realized both of us had a bunch of experience in that space. So in November, we started to put together the program, and we launched it now in March. And on their first phase of the program, we helped them to set a goal map of how to solve their erectile dysfunction, and with the action steps and with the time frame. I mean, you know, the whole shebang, what we do with the goal map. So that's like the latest thing I've been using the goal map in, and yeah, still as crazy as when you met me, Brian. Still passionate about what I do. We've been skiing together, we've been talking together, we've been drinking together, we've been having a lot of fun together, and yeah, it's still my life of changing lives. That's it.
I'm so impressed with you, Ronnie. And the thought that came to me when you were talking then is that how many modules in your program for the erectile dysfunction?
We have 3 modules. So basically it's a 12 week program, and we have a reset phase, we have a retool phase, and we have a relaunch phase. So it's like 3 separate steps in the program.
And so the thought that came to me was, are you using goal mapping because it helps people to follow through your other modules, that by creating a goal map, they've got a learning plan, a personal development plan? But the other thought that came to me, of course, is that much of what we know affects us, men or women, is our own thoughts.
Yeah.
And it's our strongest thought that becomes the command to our subconscious mind. So do you think that creating a goal map also gives a very positive thought to guys that are suffering with ED? And of course, it's not just the guys that suffer, because it upsets the relationship for both parties.
I thought it was going to be kind of an easy thing to coach these guys in the beginning. I see everything is easy. I never see the problem. That's just how my brain works. But when I talk to these guys and I listen to all the suffering and the relationship problems, and it's like
feelings of inadequacy.
Oh yeah, there's so many layers in it that I had never thought about in that depth as I see it now. So when in the reset phase, we have a visualization protocol that they go through to start to train their subconscious mind and to bring it into a learning mode. And we connect that visualization exercise to their goal map, to the actual goals they set. And then we bring that into action steps. So it becomes very alive. And they need to, and just like you practice on your goal map, they dedicate themselves to practice that at least twice a day, 10 minutes at a time. So it's like a meditation sort of subconscious training. Yeah.
Fantastic. Which in turn is helping to establish those neuro pathways. And we know that so much of it, in terms of our physical response, is mentally driven.
I have a very good story on that I had totally forgotten. I just happened to remember it just last week because I told the story. I was badly injured in my back when I was around 20 years old, and I was doing my sports career, and I was on the way into the national team and all that, and I messed up my back, and I couldn't really train the sports specific training for over a year. And at that time, my coach, who was a former Olympic medal winner from Sweden, he helped me to say, Ronny, that is no problem. Don't stress about this. We keep on doing what you've been doing, but now we're going to train your subconscious mind. So at least for 30 minutes every day, you're going to do the technique training in the discus throw, and you're going to see it, and you're going to believe it, and you're going to practice all the details, feeling all the feelings, seeing the whole thing, seeing it like you are experiencing it. And I did that for over a year. And when I came back to actually start doing it physically again, my technique coach at that time got blown away because my technique had improved so much, even though I hadn't been practicing it physically for over a year. And I came back and my technique level was way better than when I got injured.
I've heard so many reports saying the same thing, and it sounds crazy. But in the studies conducted, it often shows that the people that are physically practicing every day often don't improve as much as the people that are visualizing every day. And it's because in the physical practice, we're often making a mistake and we get some negative feedback.
Yeah.
It's like looking in the mirror and saying, oh, I'm fat. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that.
But
you see that we're making that the goal when we do that.
Yeah. But I'm sure you've seen that video clip with Will Smith where they interview him. And he said, like, when I set a goal and I decide, it's already done. Now it's just for the rest of the world to see it. I already know it.
Yeah.
I already know it. We just have to wait for you all to see it.
Yeah. It's that knowingness, that brain cell connection that commands the subconscious. And of course, the goal map helps us to cement that picture.
Exactly.
So Ronny, the best way for people to contact you, would it be LinkedIn for you?
I'm all over the social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I shared my link to the webpage. Someone asked for it for the program, so I shared that. So
yeah, good.
Yeah, I'm pretty easy to find.
And you're happy to help people, whether they're guys coming to you with ED or it's other people coming to you.
Yeah. I can always, I mean, I don't think I have ever, unless it's really rude people. I don't think ever I haven't guided people to, if I can't help them personally, I guide them where they should go and get the best help. Yeah.
And same questions I asked earlier with Nikki, Ronny. What's the greatest goal that you think you've achieved? What gives you the best feelings of your achievements over the years?
It's moving here.
To Spain.
Yeah, because I mean, the long story short is that my wife is from Venezuela, and we met in the States. We married 32 years ago, and we decided to let's start in Sweden. So we started in Sweden, but the problem was that start lasted for 30 years. So, and I have always said that, you know, one day, baby, you're going to have a lot of sand between your toes again, because getting back to Latin America, especially Venezuela, but the situation down in Venezuela makes it impossible to go there. And then again, when you have grown-up kids, we have 3 kids that live in Sweden. They all live in Stockholm, 24, 28, and 29 years old. And then it's pretty nice to have them within a few hours flight away only. So we can always jump on a flight and be in Sweden within 4 hours. So, but the feeling of living here, I think, is like the best choice I have ever made. Every day is a blessing. Every day is like what I've always wanted it to be, lifestyle-wise. I mean, we wake up in the morning, take a little, and half an hour work in the morning. Then me and my wife walk up the hill to the gym. There's a rooftop on the gym where we work out in the sun. We come back, either go and have a dip in the ocean, go to the house, to the apartment, have breakfast overlooking, basically the same view as you have, Brian.
Freedom lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got a great view of the sea out here, but some days are cold and rainy. And I remember about 2 years ago, it was a cold day here in England. I was looking out at the rain, and I messaged you, I think, on Facebook or something. And I said, oh, it's a miserable day here. It's all dark and wet. And you were in Sweden at the time. It was before you moved, and you said you'd had 20 minutes of sunshine all day.
In 3 months, we had 20 minutes of sunshine.
I understand why you moved to Spain. And goal mapping online has been a game changer.
Yeah.
When you joined goal mapping, we did have an online program, but technology back in 2015 is not what it is now.
No.
And now with Zoom and screen share and the digital platform, you can work anywhere in the world. And myself and Vicky, we spent a month in Vietnam with someone you know, actually, Peter Eric.
Exactly.
Maria, promoters from Norway originally. So we had a month in Vietnam last year, and we're working there. Whether online or on paper, is there one story, memory, experience that comes to mind that's particularly pleasing for you, someone you've managed to help, or a group of people? I know you've done a lot of corporate work as well, of course. So something where you've helped someone with goal mapping that you feel was particularly pleasing for you?
I mean, there is one story, maybe not what you would expect it to be, but I had one woman I work with in my Forever Living business, and she gets so inspired by the goal mapping system and everything. So she implemented it, and I kind of coached her and guided her how to implement it into her family. And her kids were at that time like around 10, and 2 kids, 10-ish in age. And they decided to use the goal mapping to put the goal up for the whole family to go to Euro Disney.
Wow.
And that was not even close to their budget at that time. And they got the kids so engaged, and they came up with so many ideas, and they talked about it on a daily basis. And 9-10 months later, the whole family went to Euro Disney together because of the family goal map. And I think that's, to my heart, is like the one I remember the most, even though I can share like sports stories, health stories, business stories, and all that. But that's the one that pops up in my mind, actually, as the first one.
Yeah, lovely feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been there myself. Have you been there? Euro Disney?
I've been to the 2 other ones in
America
and California, but not the Paris version.
Ronny, absolute pleasure. Thank you for making the time to speak to us tonight.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, it's a joy, mate. And I hope we get to see each other again soon. It's been too long already.
I'm still waiting for you to come visit, you and Vicky. I mean,
that's it. Invitation taken, and we'll be on our way.
Awesome. Fantastic.
All right, you're a fantastic person, Ronny, and you're looking really well.
You too.
Lots of love to you, my friend. Please do get in contact with Ronny if you'd like to know more about his work. Take care, my friend.